Okay, my friends, welcome, 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 welcome. Sunday night, this may be one of, I think, one of the most important tutorials that I can give you. The title is Candace Owens against the world, against the world, rather. Guess who's winning? And I have for you just some of the best and most important stuff for me to bring to your attention. And it goes, excuse me, something like this. First, there are people who don't know how to they call it debate. The word debate is being used by this Andy Huzitz, and he's a debater. He's a blood sport debater. He's teaching TPUSA how to debate, how to debate, how to debate. There's no. How do I say this? There's no debating. It's just arguing and that sort of thing. And it's also mean spirited. And listen, there's something wrong. I don't want to act prudish about using vile words, but that's not debating. But that's what this is relegated. There's a fellow, another one today. I got to tell you this, but I'm not even going to mention his name. He has this picture. Supposedly, they say this is Candace Owens, and they're saying that she's part of DNC. She's some DNC, whatever it was. And I said, this isn't Candace. Authenticated. He never says why. He just says, he comes back and he says, you, me, Lionel Media, on the X, are absolutely a fraud and national security actor just like real Candace Owens. I'm asking him to authenticate the picture. Then he says, listen to this. You're going to love this one. This is really good. He says, me, this guy, this is his response now. This is a response. It's not Andy. It's different. Wilson. This other guy says, you are a rabid possum-like creature who squeals out lies in front of a camera and should be put down at the nearest animal control as soon as possible for the sake of humanity. Please authenticate that. So he wants to euthanize me. So I'm just this is where we are. This is it. Then there was this other. Somebody sent me this one. I don't even know what this was. My buddy, if he's watching, my friend Joe sent me this one. This was, and I was trying to. Oh, Jake Shields and Andrew Wilson in a debate. I don't even know what this is about. Something about his wife and whether they slept in the ground. This is just gibberish. These are very, I mean, they're not unintelligent, but I just don't know where they've come from. To them, it's like, how many numbers did I get? Let me just say things about people's families. And by the way, this young lady who referred to Andy Wilson's, wife or whatever, baby mamas and daddies, that has nothing to do with this. There's no law against it, but this is where we are today. So I got to give you this new one. I came across this feller, and his name is, and I've got this, I'm going to show this to you. Oh, his name is Brad Palumbo. It's called Brad versus the World. And here's the title of what he says. One overlooked Candace Owens clip proves she has entered active psychosis. Now, I don't want to. That's just one of these phrases that people are using. Psychosis. She's psychotic, psychopathic. Evil. These words that people use. But I want to show you this, and this is so important. And really, it's a great and what this does. And I've got a link to him. It's called Brad Palumbo, and I've got a link to him. But I want to show you this, just a couple of things, because this is prototypical, textbook example of what we who have been doing this for a long time. This is the old 1035-960 CIA dispatch. Perfectly. He is doing this perfectly. Let me explain this first and foremost. And let me see if we can bring this. And let me show you what this is. And this is very, very good. But it shows you again, how people, don't know how to argue, and don't know how this thing works. But they're new to this. And by God, they've got a channel and it does well and gets some hits. And if it worked before, would work now, authenticity and truth notwithstanding. Okay.
Who was walking in that staircase?
Everybody's overlooking this one new clip of Candace.
Let me try this again. There we go.
It does prove she's totally lost her mind.
Okay, there we go. This is Brad. Okay.
Analysis on
Brad spends a lot of time on his hair, which is fine. No problem. He combs his hair with an egg beater. No problem. Or with a fork. But that's the groovy thing, and this is his whole thing. And let's start off with this one, all right? Very good. Now, he apparently he's jumped into this for the first time. And let's hear it again. This is our beloved Miss Candace.
And is the person who was walking in that staircase?
Everybody's overlooking this one new clip of Candace Owens that really does prove she's totally lost her mind.
Now, let me say something right now. Let me just this is classic Soviet stuff. This is classic from Stalin. And we do it to an extent. You're crazy. Not only are you wrong, you're crazy. She's lost her mind. And it's become cliched, okay? But that's all right. Let's watch this. And we're going to learn, believe me, quite a bit from this. And let me show you a few things. Okay, this is called Brad versus the World. And so far, the world is up a point, at least by virtue of this. Now watch carefully.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, your home for independent, nonpartisan commentary. And
independent, nonpartisan, hey guys. Okay, guys. Independent, nonpartisan. No partisan here. None. Okay, fine. Everybody says that. I want partisan. I don't, what does nonpartisan mean? What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. No, be partisan. I can understand partisan better than I can this nonpartisan where I'm not taking a position.
Analysis on news, politics, media, and more. And we're going to check in with Candace Owens, which I haven't done as much lately. I have not been keeping up with her daily broadcasts to the same extent. I just can't keep doing that to myself. But
you can't keep doing that to myself because it's so difficult. See, because Brad said, I can't keep doing this. This is wacky. And she says, the title of this is one overlooked Candace Owens clip proves she has entered active psychosis. This is the name of this. Active psychosis. Again, not that she's wrong. She's psychotic. She's hearing voices. She should be on medication, hospitalized. I know people are saying, oh, what's the big deal? It's a real big deal. It's like neurotic, psychotic, psychopathic, evil, in any event.
I did notice her interview with the podcaster Sean Ryan, which is going super viral right now. It's really blowing up.
You know why it's blowing up? Brad, you know why? What do you think, Tiger? What do you think? Any idea? Any idea why it's blowing up? Any idea? And I think it's important. Not everything blows up. Not everything blows up. Why do you think it blows up? Just think about this. Because she's psychotic? Because people want to watch some psychotic, psychopath, neurotic lunatic, some signal 20 ambulatory schizoaffective loon? No. I think you know where I'm going there, partner. All right, Sonny? I think you know where I'm going.
And it's understandable to see why. She makes some pretty bold claims in it.
It's not bold. It's bold compared to what the other people are saying. I think it's bolder to repeat this drivel. But anyway, here's Brad. Brad's going to set you straight.
The thumbnail I'll flash on screen. Candace Owens, quote, "I don't believe Tyler Robinson was even there," referring to, of course, the person who's been charged with murdering Charlie Kirk.
Now, let me stop right there. Make some notes. Make some notes. He's been charged. He's been charged. And when people are charged, it elevates people to levels that people cannot understand or cannot see. By the way, Estrada says these clowns are auditioning for the $7,000 club. I don't know what that means. Remember the 700 club, which was interesting. And then we have, of course, a good Stephen Salty says, Lionel versus the World has a certain ring about it. Indeed. So let's go. And thank you, by the way. So let's go back to this. Let's kind of dig what's going on here. Remember, because he's saying he's been charged. Why are you questioning the fact that he's been charged? And if they say he was there, he must be there. Well, he could be, but remember the premise of what he's saying is that's Candace's psychotic, not wrong, psychotic, hearing voices, able to be hospitalized because she doesn't believe necessarily that he was even there. And if the police say he was, he had to be there. Okay, got it?
And is heading to trial on it. Yeah, she's claiming now that he wasn't even there. And we're going to talk about that clip. There's a second clip from...
I don't know if you're picking up on the vibe here I'm getting with old... That's okay. I'm just saying, but I think you know what I'm talking about. I think you know where I'm going with this when he sounds like a little bit like, yeah, okay. Listen to this.
Quote, I don't believe Tyler Robinson was even there, referring to, of course, the person who's been charged with murdering Charlie Kirk and is heading to trial on it.
Watch the face. Watch.
Yeah, she's claiming now that he wasn't even there. And we're going to talk about that clip. There's a second clip from this interview that basically no one has noticed.
No, we've noticed. I don't know where you've been there, Sonny, but we've noticed. We've been talking about this, well, since it came out.
That I actually think is like exponentially more insane than anything she said today.
And look at this guy. He knows insanity. He's an expert on insanity. Remember, it's not that she's wrong. She's insane. Maybe I'm making too much out of this. I just listen to people and I hold them to their word. I listen. She's insane. She's crazy.
And kind of proves she's just totally lost touch with reality. So
she's lost touch with the reality. Again, psychotic. And he knows. He knows.
I'm going to go through that one as well. And I think a lot of you probably it's fallen under the radar. So
no one has it under the radar. No one has. See, that's the thing too, is this is where people think that I caught this. You didn't. See, you earthlings, you minions, you normies, you pedestrian churls, you missed this. No, I think you missed it.
Stay tuned to the end of the video for that. But first, I'll just play this first clip, and then I'll explain why it's like this narrative really makes no sense.
Now listen to this. Get ready.
She's now pushing. Not that that is anything particularly new or different.
But he's nonpartisan. He's nonpartisan. And he's saying basically, it's not completely, it's not completely nuts that she is saying it. And I'm nonpartisan. But she's crazy and psychotic.
Anyway, let's watch that.
Okay.
Who is Tyler Robinson? What the was he doing there?
I
Who
don't
do you
like
think
his
is
face.
behind this?
I don't
Do you
think Tyler Robinson was there.
You don't think he was there?
What? Okay. Oh my God. I got to say, this is the most sensitive. You just touched this thing. So let me go back and dig this up again. Hang on a minute. I had it all ready to go, but there we go. And let me see. Okay, here we go. Let me bring this up. Sorry again for this.
Is behind this?
I don't
Do you think
Tyler Robinson was there. I do not.
Okay, let's go back a little bit here. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. He's clutching his pearls, reading his beads. He doesn't know what his panties are in a wad.
Is anything particularly new or different?
Okay,
anyway, let's watch that.
I mean, who is Tyler Robinson? What the was he doing there?
I
Who do
don't
you think is behind this?
I don't
Do you
think
think
Tyler Robinson was there.
You don't think he was there?
I think he's a total patsy. I think they get lookalikes and they got everybody wearing the same outfit. I think he played a role, and I believe that what he did was he picked up clothes and he dumped them behind the Dairy Queen. I think he had a role, but I do not believe that Tyler Robinson is the person who was walking in that staircase. I do not believe the person walking in the staircase was even the person that we saw running off of the roof.
Me on 420. They have lookalikes.
Now, okay, this is important. Now remember something. Listen carefully. When somebody tells you what has been going on as of late, you remember the allegations made about the CIA mask people? I'm not suggesting that happened here, but lookalikes, the subject has been all over the place. There was a fellow who looked like Joe Biden, they believe. There was a fellow on Fox News whose mask came, you could see where it didn't connect. Did you see that one? Did you see that? The idea of lookalikes and doubles has been around forever. He asks, so help me God. He's never heard of this. He's never heard of this. He's like this kid who just jumped in, and I think this expression says it all, and he's never heard of this.
I don't even believe it was him. It was there. Girl, what?
Doesn't get it. We'll get to this in a moment, but this is it. He just has never heard it before. Now remember, I'm going to say this, I'm going to repeat myself throughout the course of this. I'm not suggesting that Candace is necessarily right or wrong, but I want to address the fact that what he's saying is it's impossible. It's crazy talk.
Put down the crack pipe.
Put down the crack pipe. Notice this, no allegations, no averments, no evidence to show that maybe what you're saying is wrong. Just, you're crazy, put down the cap. Maybe she's hearing voices, she's hallucinating, lay off the red bull, double down your medication, which is what this Andrew Wilson feller does, the debater. You see where we're going with this? Tell me where you're wrong. Tell me, have you ever heard of this? We'll talk about this in a moment. Our good friend Strada says the psychotic thing was pushed by the Bolshevik. Yep. Tel Aviv Levins and Tiny Horse Boys months ago, and it didn't catch. He's late in the game. No, it actually has gone back since the beginning of time and since the Stalin days in particular, because not only would they call you crazy, they didn't want to arrest you for being a criminal. They would arrest you for being crazy. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. All right. Let's go back to Sonny here.
You've had enough, because what do you mean? I mean, I guess I'll just go over briefly the evidence they have.
The evidence. Haven't even had a preliminary hearing yet. Haven't even had discovery yet. We don't even know what the medical examination, the ME's report, toxicology, pathology, nothing. What evidence?
Tyler Robinson to the scene of the crime. Surveillance footage showing him arriving on the scene.
This is surveillance that hasn't been authenticated yet. And the only thing that we've had so far has been an affidavit. Remember, let me tell you again, they haven't even established probable cause yet to hold him, to charge him. Let me say this again to Brad. They haven't even established probable cause yet. That's it. He's been arrested. Let me say this again. Maybe I think everybody knows what I know. There was no grand jury. There was no group of neutral, detached grand jurors, to issue a true bill, an indictment. No, it was an arrest. And what he also doesn't understand is they haven't linked the gun, and the confession is iffy. And so far, we don't really know anything as far as who's on the roof. They say, remember when I read through the other day, I read through the affidavit. It's very shaky. Of course, he hasn't done this. He's just doing this, he's doing this kind of a Charles Nelson Riley reaction to everything. Orchestrated, performative, bemused confusion.
Footprints found on site that match his sneakers.
Footprints. Okay. Okay.
His DNA found on the rifle.
It's his rifle. The rifle doesn't work. The rifle's not linked. ATF, they linked that one, was not connected to the wound, to Charlie, to anything. I'm not going to tell him about my lint brush theory, but this lint brush was not connected as well. He's just reading, Fox News or whatever, just the headlines. He doesn't understand how this thing works. He's never heard about an acquittal. He's never heard about a court not finding probable cause. He's never heard about anything. Just because somebody put something on TV and you say, well, there they are. I mean, that's it. That's the surveillance photo. That's obviously him committing the crime, even though gun dogs, again, remember, could not find that gun because it wasn't fired. But old Liberace here has no problem with this.
His confessions to his
The confessions. We've been through this before, right? Remember the confessions? How about the confessions of the police? Wait a minute. He didn't confess to the police. He confessed to everybody, including his Discord group, after he was Mirandized, after he was arrested. This guy doesn't know shit.
family members and to his like trans roommate / lover.
Don't know about that one. The one who's been, by the way, granted immunity, and so far has not really testified to specifically what Charlie told him or her. And we haven't even, again, you hear me say this all the time, authenticating the notes and the subject matter. We haven't even heard from Charlie yet, and you might not, but I think at some point you will.
But of course, she thinks all of that evidence is fake. And
no, she said he wasn't there. No. She said she doesn't believe he was there. Never mentioned the gun, never mentioned the confession, never mentioned anything. He's not even remembering what he just said. Or planted.
And just think about that for a second. You're suggesting that.
Listen to this.
All 3 levels.
This is the best. This is the best. This is it in a nutshell. Look at that face. This is it. This is the classic, absolute, fundamental 1035-960 memorandum. The 1967 memorandum about how they will weaponize conspiracy theories. He is living proof of how efficacious this is. Watch this.
Of Utah state government, local law enforcement, and the feds.
The feds, Kash Patel. Have you heard Kash Patel talk about this? No. He's saying, do you mean to tell me that these 3 levels, that Utah local police, state police, and the FBI would be in cahoots, that they could coordinate an actual fraudulent or make-believe or manufactured storyline? That's what he's saying. I mean, that's never happened.
All colluded to cover this up and fake all this evidence and everything. That's outlandish enough.
I don't even know. I mean, son, sit down. You're not going to believe what's happened in the real world. There is virtually no, from JFK to MLK to RFK. We're talking about Thane Eugene Caesar. I'm not sure if Sonny Boy can even handle that one. This is a guy who basically, this is as an example, this was powder stippling and powder deposition behind RFK's ear when Sirhan was across the room. Does that mean that people got together and covered this up? Yes. They weren't necessarily a part of the organization, but covering it up, they were told, don't fight this, let it go. Can you believe somebody actually being this naive and not knowing it? And starting off with this claim that says, look, I'm absolutely 100% not, in any way biased or I've nonpartisan. It's like, where do you start?
But now you're suggesting that it wasn't really Tyler Robinson who you see in the footage, running away on the scene of the crime and all that.
Did you see him running away? What did you see running away? What did you see? Did you see Tyler Robinson? No. You saw what appeared to be some grainy image of somebody running. That's what you saw. Remember that? Remember that, Brad? Remember that, Sonny?
Stuff. It was actually lookalikes.
Okay.
That they dressed up like him and had impersonate him. But if he's already a patsy, if he's already involved in this, why wouldn't they just have it be him?
What?
Why would they use lookalikes?
Because it wasn't him, and he wasn't there, and he might have been there for some other reason, but they've got to have people to appear. Let me try this again. Let me do this slowly. To appear as though he was the one. Remember how many times he changed his clothes? Remember that story? We'll get to the bottom of that. So let me tell you how this works. And by the way, does this say it all? Does this say it all right there? That's it. Let me tell you how this works. The purpose of a patsy is somebody who is there at the scene that you blame it on. And the reason why you don't want to just use him is that he wouldn't be a patsy, he would be an active participant. The problem is that people do not want to be, they can't recruit anybody to do this. That's why most probably Lee Harvey Oswald had nothing to do with any of that. Why? Because they couldn't get anybody to do it. So what Brad Einstein over here says is, well, instead of having all these people pretend, why don't you get somebody just to do it? Because nobody's that stupid, or they can't recruit and they just want to. And by the way, I don't have the heart to tell this young man here, but they probably intended to have him before any of this got even out of control. And then that was thwarted for a variety of reasons. Okay. That was it.
That makes no sense.
No, it makes no sense to you. You don't understand.
On its face.
To your way of looking at this. That's true. You're having a hard time with this. And that's readily apparent.
What?
I know. I know. Sit down. Have a cool drink. Wait till I tell you, oh my God. Do you want to talk about the JFK? I don't know if you can handle that. I don't have the heart to talk about 9/11. He won't be able to sleep at night.
It's crazy because it makes sense to like distrust or challenge official narratives and to apply scrutiny and to ask questions. But then on your alternative theories, it's like you apply no scrutiny at all.
What is he talking about? This is the product of scrutiny. You see, this is called logolalia. This is like logorrhea. This is almost akin to, almost similar to Kamala. This verbal incontinence, just saying things. He's running out the clock. I mean, how could this be? It's crazy. You're saying that these people were, that doesn't make any sense. Why not just have him? Why have somebody pretend to be him? Why not just get and recruit him? That might be the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why, instead of pretending it was Lee Harvey Oswald, why not just get him? Because he didn't want to do it. Because nobody wanted to do it. That's the whole reason why you're a patsy. When you're in on it, you're a co-conspirator. The idea of a patsy is when you use somebody who had nothing to do with it, who by virtue of his presence or his being set up, or maybe his propinquity or nearness to the event, that's what a patsy is. Where do I start with this guy?
You don't apply any logical consistency or anything like that. And I'm sorry, but I just don't believe for a second.
No, you don't understand it.
That all this evidence is faked and none of that will be proven in his trial, and that a jury of his peers, when he is ultimately most likely convicted, will have been convinced beyond a reasonable doubt of this crime, even though he literally wasn't even there.
You see what he did? You see what he did? So what you're telling me is that this jury is going to find him guilty. Wait a minute, you're saying that based upon the evidence that was introduced. Evidence of what? Again, they can't link the gun. Yes, I don't even think he knows this. I don't even think Brad knows about the gun. I don't even think he understands the problem with the confession and authentication. So, yeah, they're going to find him not guilty. Not guilty. But you're saying they're going to find him guilty based upon the gun. No. How do you explain to somebody who doesn't know the facts or hasn't been following? You have no gun, no rifle. At least with the Sirhan case, you had the .22. They counted more shots fired than were in the particular cylinder of the revolver. But you had a gun. Here you don't have a gun. Not only that, I don't want to tell him this, but does he understand that the wound pattern has absolutely nothing to do, bears no resemblance to the usual wound pattern of a 30-06. Now, I don't think we should have any kind of censorship, but there should be something that says when you're saying something is so wrong, you would think somehow the truth angels would say, listen, Brad, hold it, pal. We can't let you do this. Why? Because one day this is going to be embarrassing. You can't say this. I mean, at least when Angie Wilson comes along, he just insults you. He doesn't even address it. He just says, yeah, you like sniz. What? See that poor girl who, I guess she's the sniz lover? I love what? Sniz. What the hell sniz? What are you talking about? He never even addresses it. This guy just says, so you're telling me that the government would lie? That maybe members of even the government or somebody else would take active roles in the dispatch? What? Stephen Salter says, you can't argue stupid, you will always lose. Again, I'm not going to say, but thank you. I'm not saying he's stupid. I just don't think it's too much fun to dispute it, but not now. No, I've got something I'm going to talk to you about in a moment, which is important.
According to Candace.
Yeah.
Come on. This is just far beyond the point of asking questions or wanting to know the truth.
No, it's not.
And it's just full-blown paranoid schizophrenia.
It's paranoid schizophrenia. Not only schizophrenia, but paranoid. Candace is paranoid. She's an ambulatory schizoaffective. She is, I mean, hospitalizable. This guy, because she has heard this her entire life and is wondering and believes a hypothesis. And by the way, if you are wrong about some interstitial fact, that doesn't destroy the whole thing. For example, if you said, I think he was there, but I don't think he was on the roof. I think he was on the roof, but I don't think he was at Dairy Queen. I think he was at Dairy Queen, but I think he wasn't there. I don't think it doesn't change anything. It doesn't, the story doesn't collapse. The story doesn't collapse. Now, what I like to do, just as a point of reference, I like to always say, I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't even there, which is another way of saying disabled, but it sounds better.
Ramblings of a maniac, honestly.
Don't be so hard on yourself there, Toby.
But that's just my take, I guess.
It is your take. No, what do you mean guess? That is your take. You're sitting there. This is your show. Whose other take is it? What, is there some invisible person that we don't know? This is you. You're going to say this, and you're going to own this, by the way. You are going to own this today, and I'm going to see to it.
I'm going to show you the second clip, which is arguably much more insane.
He should know. Get ready for this one.
And isn't getting the same attention as this main thing that she's...
It is getting attention. We just don't think it's insane because we understand this thing called history.
Spinning, but I actually think should be, because it just truly shows you that Candace has lost her mind. She's not
lost her mind. She's lost her mind.
Thinking remotely rationally or reasonably.
Right.
And to say nothing of the fact that she's totally wrong about basic facts.
Really? Oh, go on.
That's not new. Anyway, we'll move on here. Okay. So here's the second clip that I pulled from this interview that should be going viral, but isn't.
The whole thing, it was a 4-hour clip. What are you talking about? It was the biggest. See, only he can understand this. Here's something you caught. You missed. Here's something you. No. We saw it. We looked at it. We're saying, no, it's like you. It's almost like thinking, it's like finding somebody who's a babe in the woods. It's like, Mommy, yes, honey. Why did they take Grandpa's watch? Well, see, there are bad people in the world. What? But why would they do this? Why would the police actually conspire with other people? I don't even know. I don't even know where to start.
Let's watch. And it's when they're talking about, alternatively, not about Charlie Kirk, but about the attempted assassination against President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. Listen closely to Candace's theory about that.
Okay.
It's shocking, really. Let's listen. Who's going to win Love Island USA Season 8? Honestly, I have no...
I don't know what the hell this is. Is this an ad? Okay, hang on. Let me see this right here. Let me see this a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay. Good for him. Listen, you sell your spots. Nope, nothing wrong with that.
Look into his own assassination attempt.
Trump.
Yeah.
Butler.
They
There's a
fucking
reason for
blocked
that.
the investigation.
Yeah.
Now listen to this. Now, this poor kid's going to go berserk with this one. And let's make sure you watch. Look at that. Look at that face. Look at that punum. Look at that faccia. The faccia de starura.
Nope.
What do you think
Fact
that
check
was?
wrong.
I covered that recently on my show, and it should be reopened. And I think it was a successful assassination of Corey Comparatore.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Is
Right.
that the firefighter? I
Yep.
met his daughter.
Did you?
Now, he doesn't know what we're talking. See, just now, you see this? He's thinking to himself, I should have read those notes. I should have read those notes.
The inauguration that I never should have fucking went to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they don't believe the story. They are not satisfied. His family is not satisfied with the investigation.
Mm-hmm.
All of the stuff could be considered conspiracy, but
Oh,
I think
really?
Now, let me say something. Look at the face. Look at the face. Taliadoko, 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 idu. Look at that face. Conspiracy does not mean crazy. Conspiracy means, anybody keeping track of this? What is this, the millionth time I've said this? 2 or more guilty people join in a confederation or an agreement to do something that is unlawful. Conspiracy doesn't mean crazy. It means that he wasn't acting alone. One more time. Conspiracy means the opposite of conspiracy is you were acting alone. You weren't involved with anybody else. You had no accomplices. You had no co-defendants, no co-conspirators, nobody else working with you. You got that? That's all it means. Conspiracy versus sole actor.
adds weight to conspiracies are a lack of answers. When there's a lack of answers, conspiracies become weighted. And you can't tell me that it's normal for a man to survive an assassination attempt and shut down the investigation into his own assassination attempt. That doesn't make sense. Trump can't make that make sense.
You're right, actually. I mean, she's not wrong. Like, that would be weird. That would make sense if that was anything that actually happened.
But what didn't
But
happen?
it isn't. So first, I'm just going to fact check the parts of this that are just not
Okay,
attached
please
to
do.
reality.
Please do.
Then we're going to discuss about the absolutely psychotic claim here
There we go. He loves that word.
Candace makes that just totally calls into question her mental state.
Again, not that she's wrong. She's crazy.
But first, so their claim is that they didn't look into the
Mhm.
assassination attempt against Trump and that Trump stopped them from investigating it.
Now, let me say to me right there. Stop right there. Who agrees they didn't go through with it and that Trump, it was alleged, stopped the investigation in it? Who believes this? Who? By the way, this young man, I've got the link here, just that you know. His name is, como se llama? Brad Polumbo. Polumbo. Did you ever hear of Polumbo Gut? Remember that bodybuilder? And that's not him, by the way. Okay? That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. They never went anywhere. Kash Patel, DOJ, nothing. Trump didn't at all. Nothing. And there was all this evidence. Even Charlie, did you hear Charlie? They had people there that day who said, hey, what's that fellow doing on the roof? How did he get in there? Nobody investigated that. What about when the police actually went up? You understand this? This is the most important. This is the most important. When they walked over to him and he had a gun or pulled a gun, they didn't shoot him or arrest him. And then they got him, they dispatched him. But, and Candace has a very interesting article about a connection between PETN, which she is better able to flesh out. But the point is, Trump did not follow through this. Trump did not follow through this. Now, does anybody understand the hypotheses? Because Trump never said, here's why I did it. But what people are suggesting as to maybe why he didn't follow through? Anybody care to venture a guess as to why Trump may have said, that's it, let's don't go any further? Anybody have any ideas? Anybody have any ideas? Anybody? Anybody? He obviously does not want to find out the people that we would have found out who might have been involved. What does that mean? Somebody's saying, you understand this? Are people following my question here? Not the corrupted feds. One of the hypotheses that was suggested by some people, and again, a hypothesis is a proposed answer, it's not even a theory, because a theory is something that can be tested. Hypothesis is just but some people thought perhaps maybe it might have been foreign entanglement, foreign actors, up to and including, some would say, Israel. Some people were very upset because it was suggested. It was suggested by someone somewhere. And again, this is just out there that Trump said, you tell Adelson gave me the money, I'm going to keep it, F him, or something along those lines. Whoa. Whoa. And what if somebody said, listen, you can be next. Be very, very careful. Remember, why would a country give somebody this beeper? Isn't that weird? It's almost he's saying, remember, it's weird. So the hypotheses, again, I'm not saying this is true, but the hypotheses, but this kid here doesn't understand. I don't think he'd even get his hands around this. Sometimes some people love to send you messages. So what some people have been saying, I'll say it again very slowly, is that Trump was told, maybe as a theory, that the people who were really involved in this, they said, don't even push this any farther, Sparky. Don't go against us. We know where you are. You are never free from us, no matter where you go. So that's the only reason to shut this down. It makes sense. It makes sense. That theory doesn't mean it's happening. How do I explain this? How do you explain to this jadrul that throughout history, people have taken out presidents, people have taken out heads of state because of what they wanted to do? Anyway, now let me stop for 1 second, because I just can't take any more of this. It's just sad. This is what I wanted you to see. And by the way, I've got a link to him. Follow him. God bless him. I could not have presented more of a tutorial. It's like people. Do you ever hear people who say this sometimes? Why are there so many abortions? Why don't people just use contraception? And they think, like, what does that mean? Well, do you think that answers anything? No. What do you mean by that? Well, I just want to know, why don't they use contraception? Well, it's kind of like this. Well, why would Trump all of a sudden want to stop his investigation? Because somebody said to him and others, don't push this. You don't know who you're messing with, as a theory. Now, let me bring this to you. This is something, and I'm going to show you what it looks like so that you can kind of, sort of, maybe, let me see if, you know what, it might be better if I do this. No, let me do it this way. I want you to see it. I will give you the link, and you can see this for yourself. Excuse me, but this is what it looks like. This is from 1960. Hang on a minute. From 1967. There we go. Let me get rid of him, and put him here. This is, just a second. Let me put him, there we go, right here. This is the famous document. Now, I can't really zoom in. I wish I could, but I will give you the link. And the document here that I want you to get a look at, this is the one that came out that was declassified, I think in 67. And it was the most important thing in the world. It was the famous 1035-960. This is CIA dispatch number 1035-960. In 1967, the document created as a strategic directive to provide operatives with talking points for countering and discrediting critics of the Warren Commission. In it, they said, for example, it talks about the use of propaganda, the use of making, let me see if I can I'll give you a, is this it? 1, 2, 3? No, that's not it. I want to give you I want you to read it. I want you to read full text? There we go. Okay, here's the full text. I want you to see the document. You can find it. Let me see. This is I want you to see the actual, here's the appendix. Let me see. Let me see this. You have to read it. And there's something about seeing an old, JFK Lancer. That's where you go. Yes. JFK Lancer. This is it. JFK. That's such a great site, by the way. You could spend hours just looking up the great names. JFK Lancer. Where is this? It's not it. Just bear with me. I want you to see this for yourself. I should have had this, but this thing screwed up. JFK Lancer. I'll find it. You know what? I'm just going to give you this scribed piece, and you can look for yourself. Wait a minute. Is that it? View and document. No, I'm going to give you this whole piece. I'm going to give you this, and you can look it up later. This is I'm sorry, I don't mean to be doing this, but I do like to be as thorough as possible. I like to give you as much testimonial, actual exhibit. Here we go. This is the evidence right there. This is the document. So what it did was it simply did this. Let me explain it to you. You might not remember this, but at the time during the Warren Commission, nobody believed it. Nobody. And this was before the Zapruder film. The Zapruder film came in 75, 70, 77, something like that. It was in a Geraldo Rivera show called Good Night America. And they showed it for the first time, and people couldn't believe it. Its head blowing up. And by the way, the Zapruder film itself was also tampered with, and that's another story. One of the things that they did, and they followed through with this to that letter, is they said, we can use our friends, our Mockingbird friends. Remember Operation Mockingbird? I don't want to tell Palumbo about that. But this is a declassified absolute fact where the CIA met with and conspired with and arranged with and worked with media operatives, media organizations, media types, so that they can have somebody representing, this is in the days of Helms and Dulles and hardcore spooks, hardcore. Richard Talbot, remember, these are the guys who burned MK Ultra files. And they are hardcore. We don't have anything like that today. But they said, let's work with our people and tell them the following. Number one, tell them that the amount of people that you would need to pull this off, this goes back to this document, is so great. I'm surprised he didn't, because I could have given us more. I should have given him this directive, this memorandum, to give him more talking points. How do you know how many people you would have if this thing were a conspiracy? Do you know how many people would have been involved in it? Somebody somewhere would have talked. You just don't do this. You don't pull something like this out of the air. Yeah. It's compartmentalized. It's done all the time. There were people who were in Project Enigma who never spoke about it ever. If you and I are working in the CIA or we're on a bench or some kind of Los Alamos, they didn't even know what the hell they were doing. You know where you really see this, believe it or not, is during the development of the iPhone. Apple's security was so great when they were making the iPhone that people would show up. The people who wanted to see the finished product were the people that worked at Apple. They never saw it. One guy's working on the glass. One guy's working on the box. Google's a different story. They come and they go. But they compartmentalize. When you work in this division, you don't know what anybody else is doing. And you don't want to know. Remember Sergeant Schultz? I know nothing. That's number one. Number two, So the first thing is the complexity that nobody can keep a secret. Next, you weaponize the idea of conspiracies and you make them sound like people are crazy. They're nutty. They're nuts. And it has stuck with us, whether it's COVID, whether it's anything. Anytime you say, I think maybe there's a reason, you're a conspiracy theorist. You even heard Candace, I think perhaps, maybe, and I will say this, maybe using the term incorrectly, because there's this tendency where people say, I don't want to get into conspiracies. Now, remember, one thing is this, and I want you to listen to me very, very carefully. And remember, I'm telling you this. What this guy is telling you is for you to explain what happened. What I've been saying is, excuse me, it's not my story, it's yours. You tell me. But the story you're telling me, I don't buy. When 9/11 happened, you had 3 steel structures fall at free fall speeds, 2 ostensibly hit by planes, 1 hit by nothing, carpet and drape furniture fire, and 3 steel buildings fell at free fall speeds into their footprint for the first time ever in recorded history. I'm not buying that. Well, what do you think happened? Excuse me, it's your story, not mine. You tell me. I'm calling bullshit on your story. You said it was because of jet fuel. I'm saying no. You said this is Tyler Robinson. I say bullshit. This is your story. What Palumbo would say was, what do you think happened? I don't know what happened. I didn't come up with this. You come up with something different. Go back, work on it, because this isn't going to work. And what this guy doesn't understand, and look, come on, he's making a few bucks. He's got there's a market for this. There's a market for OnlyFans. There's a market. By the way, a great movie Mrs. Ellen and I saw today was The Young Washington. Go see that. Really excellent, excellent, excellent. There's a market for that too. There's a market for things. So I don't blame this guy. It's fun to come out. And we always say, we use the word crazy. Astrology's crazy. This crazy. You're crazy. Everybody's crazy. Biden's crazy. Oh, Biden was crazy. So I don't blame him. He's a kid. He hasn't been around. He's never been immersed in this. He can't imagine how something like this can happen. He can't understand how Epstein, who was murdered. I can sit there right now and say, let me show you something. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is Mr. Epstein's hyoid bone right here in this picture. It's fractured. You don't get that with suspension ligature. You don't get that. You get that from trauma, real serious trauma, like a chop to the throat or anterior to posterior compression, strangulation. Not a carotid restraint, strangulation, where you can't even talk. Plus the thyroid cartilage. 2 pieces of evidence. That's it. So, of course, Quincy over here would say, well, how could that happen? Simple, it happened. Do you mean to tell me that the federal government and the Department of Prisons and everybody else got together? Yes. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Kitty Meow says, Lionel, you're hilarious. When you did the Andrew Wilson impersonation, talking about the Drizz liquor, I think it's Sniz, but Drizz, I about fell off my chair. Thank you. You know what's even funnier? I'm just talking about what he said. You can't write this. And by the way, Andrew thinks he's this big debater. It's like I'm a debater. Really? You know who he is? You know who Eric Weinstein is, or Weinstein, or he's full of shit. He's this guy. He's a physicist, and no, he's not. No, he's not. Now, what's interesting also is that whenever Candace does something, she always goes on vacation and drops this and let people go crazy. And then you're waiting when she comes back or to come back. I mean, it's so perfect. But let me go back to this. I don't blame this guy. There are a lot of people who think exactly what he feels. Last night, I couldn't get to sleep at all. No, actually, this morning on WABC, I heard people talking about life after death. And there were people who said absolutely, some made no sense. They were just saying, well, I believe in life after death because I read a book. And the book said, and I said, well, I got a book that says your book is wrong. So does that cancel your book out? Huh? Kitty says, you're on a roll tonight. So glad I tuned in. I needed the laughs. Thank you. It's so sad that we're talking about all this murder stuff, but it's funny. And by the way, if I went in front of a jury and I can make them laugh and dismiss this, that's the quickest way for an acquittal. Make them laugh. But what Palumbo doesn't get is he doesn't understand. So yeah, in the Epstein case, feds knew, DOJ knew, U.S. Attorney's Office knew, the prison, I guess, prison system knew, the guard, everybody knew this. Yeah. They even had a guy who was a murderer, who was facing death row, who killed people, who was his cellmate, who roughed him up before around the neck. Lo and behold, all of a sudden he's moved after the murder and he's off of death row. Hello. I don't have the heart to tell this kid. They do it right in front of you. Right in front of you. JFK. Boom. Boom. No, it came from the other way. But no, it's just nuts. And then you have these people who just, and then they're also going after Tucker. They're making Tucker out to be, Tucker's crazy. He's not crazy. Tucker's not an agent. He's not. It's like, come on. Would you please tell me if I'm wrong? Don't tell me that I'm a, what do you say? I'm a national. I don't even know what the hell this guy told this numbnuts here. This other idiot. I'm a what? I'm an agent. Huh? Because we've lost the ability. We don't have any imagination. And by the way, those who don't know history are forced to repeat it. Santayana said this, and history would be a wonderful thing if only it were true. Does he not understand this? The JFK case is so replete with errors. I can't even believe it ever happened. They did this. They do it right in front of you. They do it right in front of you. And the best thing you can come up with is she's crazy. Let me tell you something. There are people who say, hey, look, I want to do a YouTube channel. What do I do? Okay, just trash Candace. Well, that may be good, but I don't know anything about the case. Even better. She's crazy. She's not. She's a lunatic. She's jealous. She's jealous of Erica. What? Just say that. She's crazy. She's a DNC operative. That's my favorite. She's a DNC operative. How does this help the DNC? I don't even know what the hell that means. Just say something. That's easy. But what I'm suggesting, what other people, you have to know the facts of the case. It takes, ask Barron. Barron has not one time said, tonight, document number 1, he's crazy. It's like, that's not going to do it. But this is where we are. So I can't blame this kid. He's just going to say, it may seem tough. It may seem tough. There was a time when we thought to ourselves, how in the hell can you possibly think there was the Gulf of Tonkin resolution? There's no way. You mean to tell me they lied about the Vietnam War? Yes. Oh, that's crazy. And then they said, yep, we did. Do you not know how this thing works? Do you not understand how this thing works? And also, there's a wonderful, Marsh McLuhan said that little lies are hard to keep secret, but big lies are easy because of your incredulity. Have you ever heard of this notion called this? What is it called? I get them confused. Maybe help me. Is it either the Hannibal or the Samson? I think it's a Hannibal directive. This is a doctrine that was revealed that said that according to the IDF and Israeli military protocol, if the enemy takes Israeli soldiers, just kill them. Kill him. Cami Roundtree says, so love and appreciate your content. Thank you. Well, thank you. But anyway, but this is it Samson? Yeah, Samson option. Samson. Right. Basically, now that is so hard to believe, because in order for you to believe that, you've got to think these people are this hardcore. Yes. You mean they would, you're suggesting they would hurt their own? Yes. Oh, I can't believe that. That's the idea. Yeah. So it's not that they're disputing whether it's possible or not. What they're saying is, I can't believe this, that people could be that mean. Yes. Mrs. L does this all the time. When she talks about what they do to kids, it's beyond some people being able to understand and grasp the notion of what happens to kids. And the only reason that people have a difficult time understanding it or grasping is because they can't believe that anybody can be that awful to children. That's the only reason. That's what this is. During 9/11, are you telling me that there were people who actually would have deliberately killed innocent people? Yes, they would have done this. Now we're going to find out why. But it's beyond what? Yeah. You should have seen the historical records of people saying that dropping the 2 atom bombs in Japan were unnecessary, up to and including Eisenhower to MacArthur to everybody else. So they say, you mean to tell me that the United States incinerated all these people just to what? Just to impress Russia? Yes. How about the information that says that we knew about the theory, the hypothesis that we knew about World War II, that FDR took all of the carriers out but left the other stuff there in Pearl Harbor? In order to believe this, you would think, do you think JFK or FDR would have done this to America? Yes. What do you think this is? There's lie hop and my hop. Let it happen on purpose. Make it happen on purpose. It's how many patsies must you in your life, James Earl Ray, Sirhan, Lee Harvey Oswald? It happens all the time. Why did they get Harvey Weinstein and Diddy, but nobody else? You know the people who got away with it? How come nobody has been really, how come Ghislaine Maxwell went to prison for basically trafficking and nobody that she conspired with ever went to jail? Nobody. Do you think they knew? Yes. Do you think that Pam Bondi and others were? Yes. They were told. That's it. They even said that Trump said, these are my friends. Whether you believe it. Do you think it's that brutal? Yes. This poor kid, he won't be able to sleep at night. He just can't believe it. And I like the fact that he's that innocent, that so contaminated by this namby-pamby silliness where he can't imagine just how brutally horrible people can be. Clive Davis. Oh my God. What I've heard about Clive Davis and Whitney Houston, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. If I told you what I've heard, what people are saying about Clark Gable, and it was Carol Lombard, whoever, you can't believe. You want to talk about Hollywood in the 20s, Clara Bow, forget Fatty Arbuckle later. I could tell you stuff. You wouldn't be able to sleep at night. You wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I can't believe the number of people who are in Hollywood and sports who are gay, and nobody knows this. And everybody knows they are in the business, but the public. Now, I'm not saying that I care or that it's wrong. I'm just saying people are just so naive. You can tell them anything. You can absolutely, positively. Remember during the time of the Rona, when people were suggesting, are you mean to tell me that we would deliberately know that we would have, that Fauci would have been involved in something with gain of function? Yes! Oh my God. What do you think monsters look like? Hey, Palumbo, what do you think monsters look like? What do you think? What did Eichmann look like? What did Albert Fish? Look up Albert Fish. When do you get a chance? Not now. He was one of the most disgusting serial killers. He got, was it Rosebud or whatever her name was? He was a cannibal. He was a cannibal. This guy was into also self-harm. He had so many needles stuck into his inguinal and groin area that supposedly they say that one of the attempts to shock him is short-circuited because he did an x-ray. He had needles and this guy's sick. They cannibalized this girl. He wrote her parents detailed letters about this is what I did. Oh my God. It's like in 20, this is sick. Sick. Do you mean, yay, Lionel, you're my sanity pill? Yes. Thank you for that. I am forever amazed at the naivete of people. I am. I don't know what to do. And the very fact that we need Candace. We need others. We needed Richard Gage. We needed Alex Jones. We need a lot of people to ask questions that are so incredible. Do you know, and I'm not gonna read, because there's something I don't know enough about him. But there are people who are suggesting that whenever there were terrible events or shootings and crimes in schools and otherwise, somebody would say, do you think it's even possible? Do you think it's possible for something like this to have been faked? Now, I'm not saying it did, but the question is, could it be faked? Absolutely. We're the most gullible people in the world. Let me ask you this question. Yes or no? Put 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Here's the question. Is it possible that we never landed on the moon ever? Ever. Is it possible that something of that nature, of that magnitude, could have been pulled off for all these years? Is it possible? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Do you know how many people would have been behind that? How many people would have had to have known that? How many people would have looked the other way? How many levels of coordination of real conspiracies? And yet everybody says, sure, it's possible. Of course it is. Because sometimes, remember, incredulity. How can you say that didn't happen? That's what protects it from happening in the first place. Now, that's not to say that I'm saying it didn't, but if something that is presented to you could never have occurred in the first place, there's no need to even ask. So, my friends, think about that. You will very rarely hear me see things apodic. Yes, absolutely. But I will tell you that some things are possible. That's all. So, my friends, I ask you right now to accept my humble thanks. My thanks to you for being a part of this. Hand farts to you. Oh yeah, and you gotta do that face. You gotta do that to really send the message home. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything. Thank you, by the by. Thank you. Thank you for your being here, for keeping an open mind, for questioning, always questioning authority, questioning reality. You are so important, so critical, so necessary in our world. And I mean that. I'm not just being gratuitous. I mean this. You are so absolutely so critical. So I will be following all this, everything that happens, which is very, very important, very, very critical. I will always let you know. We're going to let you know everything that's happening. The preliminary hearing is coming up this week. When is it? Let me see. The 5-day preliminary hearing starts Monday. We will go through this. Will be the first time members of Kirk's family are in the Utah courtroom with Tyler Robinson. It's going to be something. It's going to be something. And we'll talk about that. Remember, they have to establish probable cause. And wait until we're going to find out some stuff. I hope that we get to learn finally what happens about this rifle. Was it connected? Was there any kind of gun residue? Was it fired? We're going to find out this week. So I will be there for you. I will be there for you. And go see Young Washington. Kelsey Grammer. It's called Angel Studios, by the way. And it's a new batch. It's a new brand of crowdsource, or having people to support this. They're the ones who did Cry for Freedom or whatever it was. And they're very, very good. Kelsey Grammer gives a little piece, piece afterwards. It's a chance that maybe Hollywood might be maybe coming to its senses. At least it's an alternative. But it's very interesting. It's pre-revolutionary Washington. It's very fascinating. All right, my friends, please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. I thank you so much for that. Please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you are absolutely positively subscribed, because sometimes I'm finding out for some particular reason that people are unsubscribed. I don't know why. And also make sure you can, please, I ask you to go back and listen to this fellow who puts out a great product. I guess his name is, Brad Palumbo. I've got his little link there. And go see for yourself. And he speaks for a lot of people. Because it's very difficult for people who think, but let me tell you something, Candace Owens is not crazy. If Candace Owens is crazy, would that everybody were crazy? She is, I think, one of the most important and critical messages and voices around. In any event, my friend, have a great and glorious night. Get back to work tomorrow. We'll see you. Thanks for everything. I love you to death. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And until we speak again, remember carefully. This is Lionel with you saying the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.